All right, so I want to welcome you to Why Slim Hypnosis. I'm your friendly clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm here to talk to you about why Slim Hypnosis is your resolution solution versus what people typically do, which is, well, fail miserably. And I'm not the only one that says this. There's actually studies that show that 92% of resolutions fail. And so it's kind of a futile thing for you to say, I'm going to make all these changes just because the calendar flipped over to a new date. Because you and I both know that you woke up with the same brain that you went to bed with on the 31st. And so we're going to talk about why this brain of yours, this mind of yours, makes it difficult to change. But I'm also going to tell you about the easy button. And I thought it would only make sense if I told you why I chose the easy button for you and for me all through life at this point. And that's because I've been a health nut since I was about 16 years old. Kind of funny story is that my mother turned over a new leaf in our home, and she joined Weight Watchers, and she had the big, if you remember, does anybody remember those big giant plastic cups that had like a handle and the little red, measurement up the side of it? Remember those big thermal cups? So much nicer cups we have today. Anyway, those big cups showed up in our house, and she started doing things like taking, instead of the chili that she would make it with like turkey, and she would there were lots of other changes, but the most significant thing really for me was that she brought home these books that I read, consumed cover to cover, and I completely changed my life like overnight. Okay, because I read this information, this education about what true health was, and I said, oh my God, well, living on Amorosa rolls with butter and a Coca-Cola for breakfast probably isn't going to help me to have a long healthy life. So done with that. And many other habits just went to the wayside while I picked up these incredibly healthy habits I've been employing, well, for the rest of my life. And you might be interested to know what those books were. I don't even know if you can find them anymore. One was Francis Moore Lapp's Diet for a New Planet. Okay, so it's less of a diet book, so please know it was more of a conservation book on the lines of Silent Spring, right? So, but it did talk about how we eat, and how we eat affects the planet. So that was that one. And then there was something called Fit for Life. And Fit for Life, I don't remember what it was about, except that I do know that for the next couple of years in high school, I literally went to school with a giant gallon-sized bag of chopped up fruit every day and ate that. Now, what teenager do you know that goes to school? Anyway, so that's the story that started this whole thing. And when I was when my daughter's is 21 years ago now, when I had my daughter in my belly and I wanted to work from home, well, it only made sense for me to kind of go on what was my natural path, which was this path of really what I thought of as living in wellness. That was my first company name. And the first company that I established back in 2000 was called Living in Wellness, because I wanted to help people to claim these habits for themselves. And what I found was that, yes, it was my passion, and I lived it, and I taught it, and I taught it, and I coached on it, and many years go by. And what I but I found pretty darn quickly is that, there are probably some of you who are watching right now, or most of you who are watching right now, who no matter what you know intellectually, you don't apply it. So in other words, it isn't what we know consciously. Darn, if it was what we knew consciously, every single one of us would just be, skinny and rich and happy and in love and all of the things we want out of life, right? What we know consciously isn't easy to implement. And so that's why I actually became a hypnotherapist, because I got so really saddened. It was crushing to see people who knew exactly what they should be doing, and they might even get ahead a little bit, And then they would just self-sabotage. It would just all come crumbling down. And I saw these same patterns all across the world. And it didn't matter, what somebody's background or what it was. I saw these patterns. And I also started to see that the solution was actually something that I couldn't give them with the toolbox I had then. I was also a business coach. I was a top earning network marketer. So I had a team of tens of thousands of people and hundreds of thousands of customers all over the world who are experiencing these things. And I was like, man, there's tweaks at the level of what I learned is the subconscious mind that would make all the difference. And my heart is to help people, is to truly help people so that they could break free and live a fully joy-filled life, a joyous life. And that does involve us treating this vessel, that is our body, with the utmost respect that we can, which isn't always easy if the habits are less than, well, nourishing, less than those that are living in wellness. Right? So I became a hypnotherapist. Okay. Listen, when I first learned that hypnotherapy was the easy button, I was in tears. I was literally crying my eyes out, going, how can I do this? What is it that I need to do in order to bring these tools to the people that I love? And I mean, when I tell you, my mind was like a tsunami of names and faces and people that I had encountered, worked with, loved, became amazing friends with, led, okay, all over the world, who could use this toolbox. I said, well, I have no choice. For me to turn my back on this information and not apply it would be really against my nature. As you probably heard me say, when I read Fit for Life and Diet for a Small Planet, I just went off the deep end and became a total health nut. And so I became a hypnotherapist. That's why we're here today. So I love to know why you're here. I'd love to know how you found me. I'd love to know, what you do. And now you know why I'm here to talk to you about why Slim Hypnosis and why hypnosis in general for changing habits. So we're going to do that here in a moment. And we're going to talk about why this big, this bear of resistance comes up whenever we want to try something new. And I'm going to show you ways that is the absolute easy button. So much so that really, at times I am astonished myself at how easy people find it to leave behind habits that no longer serve and establish ones that really do. Ones that can lead to health, longevity, greater joy, happiness, better neurochemistry, the neurochemistry of bliss, baby. Let's do it all day long, all right? And I'm gonna talk about how easy that can be for you to access. It's not something that takes a long time, and it's definitely something that is available to each and every one of you. And so with that, I would just love to know if you're here live or you're watching the replay. I'd like to ask you a question of, how many times and how many ways have you, quote unquote, tried to change your habits, your health habits, your work habits, your mood habits, all the things. But let's stick with health, right? So let's talk about health. How many times or how many diets or exercise programs have you attempted in a lifetime? Whoa, just give me an estimate, right? And that's why we're here to talk about why Slim Hypnosis and why that all of that is kind of this futile nonsense. Now, the education that you gained for all along the way, brilliant, awesome. Won't it be fantastic to actually apply it? This is the big aha that you get when you get your subconscious mind on board with you instead of it fighting with you every step of the way. What if everything that you've ever done actually prepared you to have incredible success today? to be so on it right now that when you look at your life and your health in just a few months, you'll be like, oh my goodness, why did I trudge through the freaking mud all of that time in my life when there was this easy button over here? And then you can maybe come back to this video or find or or just let me know, like, whoa, thanks for the easy button. And so with that, we're going to get started. I'm going to open up a little presentation here I have for you that will give you some guidance on why change can be so hard. So let's do that. And as we prepare for the next few minutes here, I want you to just take a moment and take a deep breath. Get back into your center. We learn best, and we actually move into the space of change when we are relaxed and feel safe. And so it might help you to put your feet flat on the floor, get comfortable wherever you are. And if you're watching me live, then maybe you just want to get all of your distractions out of the way, live or replay. Kick the distractions to the curb. Stay here with me for a few minutes. I promise you, whether it is that you want to lose weight, gain weight, regain exercise as a healthy way of living, or any other health challenge that you know you've got to change your habits to get in line, this is going to help you. And if you are already a health coach, I promise you this is going to help you. And you may also be interested to know that I'm a certified master trainer of hypnosis, and will offer hypno certification. And so if you want the easy button to work with your clients, let's chat. All righty. And so with that, let's rock and roll. Okay. And so why Slim Hypnosis versus the typical New Year's resolution fiasco, right? Well, the answer is that if we are trying to make change with the same level of mind that created the problem, we'll get nowhere. And said another way is, the mind that created the problem cannot fix it. And so I'm not talking about literally taking your brain out of your skull and putting in a new one. What you should understand is that at the level of the subconscious is where all of your habits lie, not just your habits as in what you do, but literally the way you hold your body, the way I'm talking to you right now, the way I move my hands, the voice that I use, the inflections, the way my eyes operate is a habit, all run by the subconscious mind. Imagine if I had to think about that. Imagine if you had to think about driving your car every day, how hard that would be. Yeah, it doesn't happen, because all of the things that you've done over and over again, including being you, are all in the realm of the subconscious mind. And so it's super efficient for our minds to put this information in the subconscious, right? The information about the way you eat, the way you sleep, what you drink, whether or not you exercise, right? And really, if change was easy, as I said, we'd all be skinny, rich, and friggin' madly in love. What else? You tell me, what else would we have? The massive impact in our business. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. So I'm not the only person to say this. I'm certainly not saying this just because I want you to know about Slim Hypnosis, but you know, the stats don't lie. And I've got some more for you a little later about hypnosis and why it's so effective versus traditional weight loss or other methods of weight loss, I should say. Is there a traditional weight loss? I don't know that there is. So the stats say that literally most resolutions fail. And it's because it is really hard for us to change. Change is incredibly difficult for the mind. It knows it can keep you alive the way that you've always been. It doesn't care that eating well, moving your body, drinking water, leaving cigarettes behind, leaving alcohol, excessive alcohol behind is good for you. It doesn't care. It knows that it's kept you alive like this, and that you've done those things repeatedly over and over again. And so it thinks that it has, and it makes no distinguishing unless you let it know, between like brushing your teeth or eating the wrong thing. If you did eating the chocolate every night for, the last however many months, years, then that's a habit, just like brushing your teeth. And you'd feel really weird if you didn't brush your teeth, right? Yes, it is the same. You know that anxiety that you feel when you don't brush your teeth? It's the same nudge that gets you to go eat the chocolate if you've eaten the chocolate every day for however long, or at certain emotional times, or you get my drift, right? So here's what I want you to understand. It's the rules of the mind. First, we've got to understand the rules of the mind. And this will be a blanket for so many things in your life. So just if you walk away from this with nothing else, besides the gifts I'm going to give you at the end, so stick around, know that your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. Okay? And it responds to the words that you use and the pictures that you presented, right? So it's a matter of watching our words and pictures in our heads, which is so easily done with hypnosis. And it's about knowing how to tweak them. And that's why working with a hypnotherapist can be so incredibly valuable, because I'll literally listen to the language that you're using that's self-sabotaging and help you to turn around. It's my job and I love it. And here's the other thing about the mind. It drives you towards what's familiar and away from what's unfamiliar. So the new, totally wrong, scary, out of this, do not do it, beep, 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 right? And it also does everything it can to keep you alive and away from pain. And my goodness, if you think about the ways that people usually talk about, feel when it comes to starting a new either diet or exercise program, and it all comes across as deprivation and painful, then you know why this kind of traditional methods don't work. Right? It keeps you away from pain. It also is meant to keep you alive. And it doesn't really know that the nasty health habits or smoking or that kind of thing is deadly. It just knows that you've been alive all this time with them. Hope that makes sense. So when we do attempt change, well, our brain goes into total freak out mode, right? And we're wired with this mode of response, of react. And it's actually really, there's a negative bias, this mind. So when we go into try something new, this change feels like a threat, right? And so our mind kind of goes into this rapid fire, got to stop the change, got to stop the threat, and it can actually get highly anxious. So as we go into a new routine, like you might have done here, for the new year, there's a whole process that actually happens. And I think you'll find this really enlightening. So know that your survival instincts, your fight or flight, is actually triggered whenever we do something new. Okay. And it's true that happens when something unexpected happens to us. Of course, we all know it's happened. We're responding to a fight, to some external stressor, right? Fight or flight kicks in. Very healthy, very normal. It also kicks in when we do something new, when we are going to step into a new place, whether that is the health habits or a new role in business or a new relationship. Okay, so anyway, survival instincts actually go into into high mode because you're doing something brand new. And this is actually, and again, is another survival instinct, because if you were hit with a stressful situation, all of your resources will go to help you to live through that. And it's assumed that it's like a temporary thing. Meaning, let's see, and this is so relevant because I have people who work for me who deal with incredible storms like tsunamis, right? So if imagine you a tsunami hit or a massive hurricane like we get here sometimes, and you've got this incredible external stressor, then all of your resources are going to go into survival mode. You're going to have a ton of energy to deal with that dangerous situation, but it's your evolutionary mind really believes this is going to be a short-term thing. Within like a week or so, hopefully things are cleaned up and you can get back to somewhat safe, normal life. That's what happens that's what happens when you start a new diet or exercise program and you're all on it. Your body's like, all right, something new, exciting, change. I got all the energy for this, no problem. And so for the first week or so, you're on it, right? It feels great, it feels exciting, it feels new. And that's because your subconscious mind thinks that it's temporary, like getting through the cleanup after the hurricane, right? And it does think that everything's going to be back to normal. But when it's not, when you persist, then up comes the big wall of resistance. Your mind is meant to keep you away from the unfamiliar. Okay, that's what it does, right? And so at this point, your survival instincts go on red alert and your mind starts to throw everything at you to stop you from making changes. That's it. It's literally, its job is to go, no, stay the same. Do not move from here. Beep, 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 right? And so since what you're doing is so new and there are unknown consequences, it doesn't know what's going on. It literally throws the book at you, the book of resistance. And so even if it's incredibly good for you, right? And this is what happens without hypnosis, by the way. With hypnosis, things are quite a bit different. But without hypnosis, if you can imagine smokers or people who come in to lose weight, when they do, they're actually afraid. It's a threat. They're anxious to leave behind these life-threatening things, or these things that absolutely are not life-affirming, right? Cigarettes are life-threatening, and the health habits that got them to a place where they're uncomfortable is not life-affirming, right? And so this change that they're about to make is good for them, but their brain doesn't know. It's literally just a threat. And so your fight or flight, it kicks in, right? And essentially your mind's job is to send you back to the comfort zone. And so that's why you start, skipping days in your workouts, about a week or 10 days in, or you start cheating on your diet, right? Your subconscious mind, even though it's your friend, first, its job is to keep you the same. And it's going to run the program that it's run for, well, since it was established. That could have been in youth. It could have been when you went through a troubling time in your life and you developed habits that were less than, nourishing and life-affirming, less than self-loving even, right? And it's going to run them over and over and over again. And here's what the stats say, that this resistance is such a powerful force and it works so well that typically once people have had their mind trick them to go back to their comfort zone, about 5 times, they'll just go, nothing works for me. How many times have you heard this? How many people that and this might be you, or somebody that you love. And they just simply say, oh, nothing works for me. I've tried everything. Yeah, well, you tried everything the traditional way without hypnosis, and your mind sent you back to ground zero, to its comfort zone. And about 5 times, you're like, oh, doesn't work. I guess this is me. This is my, whatever it is that the excuse pops up, right? And so eventually people don't even start anymore. Now, if that's you, I really want you to listen. And if it's not you yet, if you still have you know that you can get your health under control, then stick with me, because it doesn't have to be this way at all. Because what happens is, once we get past, so here's how it works. Let me just recap what's happened so far. Woohoo! I'm excited. This is me time. Now's the time for me. I love me. I'm getting my health back on track. I've got all the right things in the refrigerator. I'm starting my exercise program. Everything's good. Yay, me, for a week, 10 days or so. And then resistance kicked in, right? And things started to fall to the side. And here's the crazy thing is that when you keep going, when you persist, there's one more phase before your subconscious mind will actually get behind you. And that is straight up terror. So the good news is that if you persist, eventually your mind knows, man, this is permanent. They're doing this thing. This is what they do. This is who they are. Better get behind them, right? And luckily, then your subconscious mind will get behind you. But before that, straight up terror, or straight up something like an illness. So you've been doing this wonderful, quote unquote, diet, right? You've changed the way you're eating, or this exercise program, and you'll maybe get sick to your stomach, or overwhelming anxiety. I don't know what it is, but it's straight up terror that basically says, this isn't the one for you. Stop. And many people do. So in other words, and I just want to know, has that happened to you? Did you do something for a short amount of time? I don't know. I'm just going to throw some things out there that I'm not endorsing any one way of eating either. That's not what we do here. Okay. Healthy, yes. Real food that fuels your body. But not one particular way. Okay. I was a vegetarian and a vegan and a raw vegan and all kinds of things in my lifetime. And I'm not pushing an agenda on anybody. Not that it's an agenda. You get my point. But let's say you did paleo or keto or green keto, or went on a fast, or whatever those things, or intermittent fasting, any of these things for a time. And I want to know if you did those for a time and then you had some sort of thing that felt, out of whack. And then you were like, oh, can't do that. Breaks. Nope, that's not for me. I want to know if that was you. You can let me know. And even though you know that those things that I've just outlined, right? Keto, paleo, green keto, intermittent fasting, we can go on. These things, they help thousands of people. People who stick to it, they get the results. So why not you? Because your mind threw in straight up terror as its last resort to keep you the same. That's the answer. So take a deep breath and go, oh, okay, mind, thanks for keeping me safe. However, we're done with this nonsense. All right. I'm pushing past, I'm pushing through resistance, and I'm asking for your help. When you push past resistance, when you do something for long enough, those habits, it's just as easy to form the good habits as it was to form the bad ones. Okay. And it is, your mind will then get on board with you. And it's like this beautiful transcendent state, really, this place where you have all of the resources behind you. And your body then begins to actually like nudge you in that direction. It'll take you, it'll wake you, it'll have you sleeping at the right time, wake you at a decent hour to go and enjoy a workout, perhaps out in nature. It will give you nudges to drink water and to choose the right foods for you. It'll have you craving really healthy foods. Imagine that. All of this isn't something that just some people have access to, that they've got a different, a different experience of life. No, These are literally the habits that they formed. And their body says, okay, this is what you want. You've made it familiar. You've also used words and pictures that support it. I'm going to give you what you want. Yeah, there you go. So here's what we know is that in the face of committed action, resistance wears off. And the way I explain this as a hypnotherapist is that literally when you take massive action in the direction that you want, it literally burns out the old neural pathways and makes the new habits just as, easy as the old ones were. It's like deja vu, right? And so this is how you establish new habits. And with hypnosis, it's like the easiest of easy buttons, because the only willpower that you needed, the only conscious effort that you needed was to be here and to show up for your sessions. So willpower will get you to the point where you say yes to yourself, but you're not going to need that kind of what you've thought of in the past as it being hard and it being willpower once you're doing hypnosis for it, because, well, it's the easy button, remember? So I think you probably already do know too, that if you're considering this Slim Hypnosis and wondering why Slim Hypnosis is the right way for you to get your health under control, you may be in resistance. You may be in resistance. Listen to me. And that's because resistance is highest before you actually get started. So if your mind can keep you from getting started in the first place, done deal, poof. This is also why people have analysis paralysis, procrastination, and getting started on the big things that will actually change their life. So resistance is highest before we actually get started. So as you're here collecting this information right now, your mind's trying to figure out how to not get you to do this, but you're not your primitive mind, and you know what's best for you. You know what is healthy for you. And so you can tell your mind, I'm not staying the same. I'm good with change. Let's do this thing. And knowing that all it takes is for you to say yes to your yes and to begin. Because once you begin and you overcome that resistance easily with hypnosis, then it's going to be a beautiful flow of experience. Like I said, in a few months' time, you're like, my goodness, that was wonderfully easy. Why didn't I try something like that before? The answer is because it's really an uncommon secret. People don't know, but now you do. Yay, you. All right. So the main takeaway from what I've just explained is that resistance really dissipates in the taking that action, right? That committed action. It really does. It burns out the old neural pathways and burns in the new ones. And so I've just described resistance, but I wanted to touch on a phenomenon that we call the wake-up call, where perhaps somebody had a experience of either getting a health diagnosis or someone that they love has. And I get both of these all the time. People call me as a clinical hypnotherapist and a medical hypnotherapist to deal with things. And when I ask them, why now? Many times they'll tell me, well, because I was diagnosed or someone I love was diagnosed with X, Y, Z, and I know I've got to make this change. Now that's a wake-up call, and that will actually snap into place for many people, because when they realize that the comfort zone that they've been in is really very, very dangerous, right? And when we really plug into that, then our instincts, it can move us into like almost effortless change. And so that's it's a phenomenon, but we also all know people who essentially hit the snooze button when they get a wake-up call, right? People with life-threatening diseases that continue on the same path until it, kills them, right? And that's a decision. And I hope that today you make a different decision, a decision that is on the path of life, right? Choosing life. knowing that your subconscious mind, it literally runs the whole program, runs your entire life, runs everything. As I said, from the way that I smile at you to the food that I eat is all literally run by a very efficient subconscious mind, one that I programmed for ridiculous health when I was just a kid, right? And I want to help do the same for you because it rules your habits. So remember the rules of the mind, and why hypnosis is the key is that your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. And until you change the words you're using and the pictures that you're giving your mind, it thinks you want to stay the way you've been. Okay. It drives you towards familiar and away from unfamiliar until you make the familiar in your mind. Yeah. That's a key. That's a clue. And it does keep you alive. Or does everything it can to keep you alive and away from pain. And so, when you think about these workouts are killing me or anything remotely like that with those words, no wonder it keeps you from doing that. So when we work in hypnosis, we work in such a powerful level for all of these truths so that they work for you instead of against you. And as I work with my clients, knowing that whether you're working in hypnosis or hypnotherapy, and these are two different things. So I guess it's worth discussing. So hypnosis is when the types of things that I run in the group for free, the big, the hypnotizing someone is like, you can listen to my recordings. Now my recordings are more powerful than the typical stuff you get out there because I'm certified many times over. I love this stuff. I combine hypnosis, NLP, cognitive behavioral therapy with hypnotherapy. So this is it's a more robust form of hypnosis. However, hypnosis is not hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is something that is very much curated for you. So that means if I'm working with somebody one-to-one, I'm listening to the very specific self-sabotaging language, getting down to the roots of what's going on in their life so that they can make the changes, right? But any way you look at it, whether you're going to use hypnosis or hypnotherapy to get your health under control, you're going to have a really robust experience with this and know that your change can be a whole lot faster than you think. Because with hypnosis, you literally bypass resistance. We get into the level of the subconscious where those habits live from the day one and move the needle, right? And we strengthen your drive, your motivation, I love to think of it as we help you to become incredibly self-supportive versus, self-sabotage, right? What would it be like if you were self-supportive, not just in your health, but in all areas of your life? So where do we go from here? Right? So I've just let you know how hypnosis and hypnotherapy can really make a difference in your life. And perhaps if you've been listening along the way, you've heard me talk about things that, yes, are related to health, but I've also let you know that these habits of action, they're related in all kinds of ways in your life. And you can make these changes. The programs that we're running, you can change with the easy button. And if you'd like the easy button to work with Slim Hypnosis now, you can go to slimhypnosis.com. And for some of you, you're going to think, you know what, I can do this. I've just been looking for that one piece. And I know that with this, robust program that I have in place for Slim Hypnosis, that I'm going to be able to make those changes. Oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. Fantastic. Go to slimhypnosis.com, grab the self-guided work and make it happen. And please let me know your results, the changes that you saw as ripple effects in your life. Please let me know of your progress. because it's just delightful. I have people who are in the free group who listen to hypnosis and send me their texts, and I'm just like, whoa, people, I love you. And I'm thrilled that even that stuff gets people, their mindset to shift enough to make changes. So I know that Slim Hypnosis here is going to make incredible changes for you, because this is really curated specifically to dial into all the things that we deal with. You know, that would be getting in touch with our actual, hunger and satiation. I do a virtual gastric band. We talk about self-worth, self-love, body image, exercise. I mean, cravings. It's very robust, the program that you'll get. And some of you know that you want to work with me, that hypnotherapy is where it's at, right? You know that you'd like to work one-on-one with me. You'd love my support here along the way. And that would involve you booking a call. It also is you if you have health issues that have either contributed to the weight gain or have been exasperated by it or caused by it, for that matter. That would be the one-on-one work. That it requires, a deeper level of support that I would be thrilled to provide. So are you the person who's going to go for it with your own inner motivation? Or are you the person who's going to work with me one-to-one? It's your choice. Either way, you can go to slimhypnosis.com and you can claim your free gift there. So when you go to slimhypnosis.com or you land on the resolution solution page here, you'll see a pop-up, right? And this is it says download Healthy Mind and Body Hypnosis MP3 free. Now, on the next page, yes, you'll get that hypnosis MP3, but you're also going to get a free self-hypnosis training for health from me. So when you visit slimhypnosis.com, you can get started, or you can claim those. And I sincerely look forward to hearing your progress. But wait, that's not all. I have bonuses that are available here and only for a limited time. Okay, so right now, you may be aware that in this very group, we are running the Bliss Challenge. Okay, so the Bliss Challenge is starting on January 17th. This is going to be an incredible opportunity for you to dial into the neurochemistry of success, neuroscience of success. Yes, neurochemistry of success too. And really learn why it is that I live by the rule of life, which is the happier you are, the more money you make. Okay. And you should know that if you book a call with me and you get started with what I call Program for Prosperity before we do the Bliss Challenge, you're going to get my resolution package, which includes Slim Hypnosis. Ta-da! Easy as that. So let's see. Should I go for the whole shebang of getting my mind wired for prosperity or just health? Oh, I can get all of it? Brilliant. Let's do it, right? That's what I say. And the other bonus I have for you is if you do take Slim Hypnosis in either the one-on-one work with me or as doing the self-guided, I am bonusing the stop smoking hypnosis for anybody who does that. And so please, let me know that you want that. And here's the thing I'm going to say, even if you're not the smoker, I am happy to give the self-guided smoking package to anyone when you get started, either with Program for Prosperity or with Slim Hypnosis. So if it's not for you, if somebody that you love is, already finding that New Year's resolution to stop that deadly habit isn't working, let me know and we will get it to them. All right. Because I truly do. That's for me to let to have people to leave behind that habit is incredibly fulfilling. And so with that, whether you want to work with me one-to-one, do some hypnosis on your own, or have the whole enchilada and do Program for Prosperity with me, I sincerely look forward to seeing your progress. So if you've got any questions, please, you can drop them right in the comments, and I'll make sure that you get the answers that you're looking for. If you need to book a call, just drop the word call and I'm happy to speak with you. And with that, I want to say thank you for being with me today. For Why Slim Hypnosis, I am clinical hypnotherapist Melanie McCool, and I look forward to helping you to realize your dreams. And with that, I'll say adios, amigos.